The title is not clickbait. That's right, DBS Chapter 100's preview is only one page, but it tells us more than we thought once you take a closer look. Upon first glance, this may only seem like Gohan launching his special beam cannon at Cell Max, but then you remember, wait, this is only the first page. That's right, they're only showing the first page of Chapter 100, not even showing if his special beam cannon actually hits Cell Max or not. Personally, to me, this says multiple things at once. Number one, it says to tune in to Jump Festa because they're about to tease the next arc. Number two, it says this chapter is about to wildly divert from the events of the movie. Maybe he misses Cell Max, who knows? I think this is the least likely option, but I also think it's an option nonetheless. And number three, the future is bright for Dragon Ball Super. The possibilities are endless, but most people seem to hope the next arc picks up where the Granola arc left off with Frieza. For the past few volumes of DBS, they've just been recapping the movie, and the sales have obviously suffered as a result. Volume 19 sold 117,000 copies in 4 days, Volume 20 sold 80,000 copies in 3 days, and Volume 21 sold 58,000 copies in 3 days. Looking at the sales for the latest volume, Volume 22, reveals 87,000 copies in the first 7 days. Now, I know that sounds bad, but when you take a closer look, you find that even with only 87,000 sales, they're still ranked the third highest selling manga for that week. In comparison, Chainsaw Man, which is a massive global hit right now, is at number 2, so it's still pretty good numbers-wise. However, this is a drop nonetheless. It'll be in Shueisha's best interest to move on from this recap arc as soon as possible and explore new territory. As far as the future goes, Chapter 100 is getting a color page and it's being celebrated for it being the 100th chapter in Dragon Ball Super. I highly doubt that they would actually end Dragon Ball Super at this point, so I think it's more than likely that it will keep going on with more chapters. The best place for us to learn about the future of DBS will be at Jump Festa this weekend. I personally think the next arc will be Black Frieza. I hope that the next arc will be after the end of Z, so that we can start moving beyond it and expand into new territory. There's always the possibility that it takes place just before the end of Z. I could see maybe them making the Black Frieza arc just before the end of Z, just to squeeze a little bit more into that time period, and then we move past the end of Z with the arc after that. And I don't think it'll be an adaptation of Dragon Ball Daima. And if they ever adapt Daima into a manga, I doubt they'd put it under the Super umbrella, considering they're moving away from Super as the brand-wide name and just sticking with Dragon Ball as the brand-wide name going forward. And also in the news, I figured I'd mention this, we have a Sparking Zero update. Now take this with a grain of salt, but we have an early listing and it could change, and that is that Sparking Zero has been listed on Xbox's game store with the size of about 70 gigabytes, meaning we should be in for tons of content. That about does it for this video. Like I said, there was only one page shown, but Jump Festa is pretty soon. I'm gonna try to make a video covering any news we get from Jump Festa. I expect we will get some massive news from Jump Festa. If we don't, that'll be disappointing, but it is what it is. So I'm hoping that we get some massive, okay, so what you should be expecting for Jump Festa, what I'm hoping for, is news on the next arc after Superhero, and I'm thinking maybe they only showed one picture, one page from the next Dragon Ball Super chapter because they're setting us up for Jump Festa. So they're like, hey, if you want the actual preview, you got to tune in to Jump Festa and we'll tell you what all is coming next. Even just beyond the first page, maybe the second page cuts to a new character looking at the fight, and then maybe the fight ends and the new character shows up. Who knows? We'll just have to go ahead and tune in to Jump Festa and wait and see. And of course, we will be covering that on the channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the Dragon Ball news. I do my best to cover the mainstream Dragon Ball news. I don't cover very much Dragon Ball Heroes content, but I have been reading the manga. If you want to read those or watch those reviews, you can check those out on the channel as well. And that will be it for this video. Peace off.